Hello and welcome to another CAD clip on AutoCAD 2007 talking about 3D and mostly new stuff, but one of the things people don't realize is for quite some time now with AutoCAD solids, you've been able to fillet edges between solids. Okay, this is by no means new. You've been able to do this for a great deal of time, since AutoCAD 2004 at least, but doesn't matter. We can still take advantage of that in this CAD clip. So what I'm talking about here is we can have a solid object, and I'm just using a shift middle mouse button here, and we can take edges and we can round those edges using the fillet command, and it works a little bit differently from the normal way we fillet 2D objects, but for the most part it is the same command. And what I've done here is I've taken a cylinder and a box and I've unioned them together with my Boolean operations, and then I've done some filleting and using the chain option of that fillet. So I'm just going to go back to my top view over here, and again I can use my visual styles to look at that in different ways as I please. Okay, so I'm going to start by just drawing a box, new objects, over here, draw a box this big, and we'll make it, about that high. Okay, and then maybe I'll draw a cylinder, okay, cylinder here, and make the cylinder a little bit higher. Okay, let's have a look and see where I put that. Looks good. If that happened to go in at the wrong place or something that ends up being up at this point, just drag that down. Doesn't matter. All of our great 3D tools are there. So we have a similar condition. Shift middle mouse button here. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is union these together to get that edge in particular around there. Okay, so I can go in here now and I can say union this cylinder in this box, hit enter, and now I have that object with that edge inside of there. Okay, now something you've always been able to do, I can go down here to my fillet command, normal fillet command on my toolbar, and I'm going to say R for radius, and I'm going to set it for 2 units. It has to be a relative number. You don't want it to be too big, you don't want it to be too small. Do a little bit of math ahead of time. And now I'm going to pick on this edge, for instance, and I'm going to say agree with my 2 unit radius, and I'm going to use the chain option, C for chain, and I'm going to pick on these 4 edges, and it's going to do beautiful fillet for me on those edges. Okay, I can turn around and use the fillet command, and also you can use chamfer here as well. Okay, on our modify, so chamfer and fillet. This whole lesson works with both fillet and chamfer, but fillet is a little trickier, so we thought we'd do this one. So fillet. Okay, and now I'm going to go in and I'm just going to pick this top edge right along the edge there, and I'm going to agree with my 2 units, enter, and I'm going to say C for chain, and then I'm going to hover over and I'm going to pick this object, shift middle mouse button, pick that edge, hit enter, and it's going to do a nice fillet around that corner. Now sometimes if you try to do a fillet, that's impossible to do. If you can't make the fillet, it will error out on you. Okay, back to our fillet, or let's try chamfer instead, and then I'm going to pick on this edge, and I'm going to say, enter surface selection. Okay, specify base distance, so I'm going to say 2 units, 2 units, select an edge, enter, and it's going to do a chamfer instead of a fillet. Okay, over here I did a fillet instead. Okay, and we can look at this in our different visual styles once again, depending on if there was materials added to it or not. Okay, so we can get different options on there. Okay, let's just spin this around, working our way around here. Maybe we want to fillet the bottom edge of this around here, okay? So we're going to go back. In a 2D fillet, all we do is fillet a corner in 2D, but in fillet with solids, we can fillet the whole solid. So I'm going to go fillet, off of here, fillet, and then I'm going to pick on an edge, for instance, bottom edge of there. I'm going to accept my 2 unit radius. I'm going to say C for chain. I'm going to pick here and pick around there. I'm going to hit enter, and then now if I use my shift middle mouse button, it's filleted the bottom of that quite nicely. Shift middle mouse. Okay, and then all you really have to do is kind of work your way around with that fillet. Sometimes you can do maybe just a single edge. Here I'm just going to maybe do this vertical edge. I'm going to use my fillet command. I'm going to pick on that vertical edge. Sometimes you might want to change your visual styles here, and I'm going to accept the 2-inch radius, and I'm just going to hit an enter and finish that off. Okay, done. Okay, let's try it again. Maybe we want to do these top 2 edges. Okay, fillet or fillet, and then I'm going to pick on that edge right there, and I'm going to accept the 2-unit radius. I'm going to say C for chain and pick over here and hit enter. Does a chain effect along there, and then again our visual styles. Maybe I'm going to take this object, change the material. Later we'll talk about materials. I can go in, pick a color, whatever I want, change my visual style. We have something like that we can create. So practice it, maybe have a little look in your help menu, and you can see that you can use one edge or you can use the chain edges, and then just go around and kind of smooth your objects around, and then you can apply your materials. So there we have it, using the cool new AutoCAD 3D solids with our fillet and our chain option within the fillet command.